family in to enjoy Tanner's delicious hamburgers, chicken lips, and daily specials, and wash it down with one of their tons of options of beers. You'll never have an issue finding the game, as there are TVs everywhere throughout the space. So get in early, grab your spot, and settle in for a day of NCAA tournament basketball at Tanner's Bar and Grill, 30th and Yankee Hill.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, a chance of rain expected throughout the day. See falling temperatures with a high around 52. Tonight, a chance of wind-free mix and blowing snow possible. See a low around 23. And tomorrow, a slight chance of snow in the morning. Otherwise, mainly sunny and windy. High around 36. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation. They're a family-owned, privately held manufacturing company with a passion for excellence and a commitment to their community. They have openings on all shifts at both the main plant and air park facilities, offering flexibility to fit your schedule. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you there. At Lincoln Industries, they invest in their people's success, providing opportunities for growth and advancement. Apply now and become a part of something special at Lincoln Industries.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Spring is a time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Fuhrer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fuhrer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Are you in the market for a new garage door or need to repair your old one? It's wintertime, and that means snow, wind, and freezing temperatures, all things that can cause sticky locks and damage to your garage door. If you're experiencing any issues with your commercial or residential garage door during the winter months, call Cameron Hall and his team at Doors Plus. Don't be trapped outside in the cold because of a poorly maintained garage door. Call Doors Plus today at 402-590-5800 or visit them online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Old School with DP and J.
Do you think it's too early to talk about Patrick Mahomes as the greatest of all time? You know, to be honest with you, I think he might be on ahead of the pace. It was definitely on pace, maybe ahead of the pace. I think right now everything that he does is going to get overblown, and I think people so quickly forgot the 20-year run of the Patriots. Not 5-6 years, 20-year run of Tom Brady and the Patriots.
93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
That is right. It is On the Block. No Austin Orman today. Nick Sainer filling in as he is en route back to Lincoln from Corvallis, Oregon, where he covered Nebraska women's basketball. They beat Texas A&M on Friday, unable to knock off the hometown Oregon State Beavers on Sunday. But nonetheless, we're joined on the on the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream by Eric Strickland. Stricky, what's happening? Oh, he's muted. There we go.
There it is. Everything is good. Just looking to return home. Glad about it. Not happy about it. Obviously, we would have loved to have had the opportunity to stay a couple nights and witness just great history happening right before us. Now that didn't happen. But shout out to the women. The women were able to move on, get to the second round, and then came up a little short while they were out there as well. And it was just one of those things, man, that being that it took a lot of Husker fans, and listen, when I tell you, Nick, the arena was like a sea of red. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. It was so freaking packed in there with a lot of Husker faithful, a lot of fans. They were excited. We drowned out Texas A&M. It was one of those things that Texas A&M is playing great ball right now. I mean, they gave Houston everything that they can handle on last night, going into overtime with them. And again, it was a barn burner, high scoring game. I mean, the second time the Huskers, obviously against Illinois, who was also playing great ball and moving on. But it goes to show you that the Big Ten and some of the teams that they're playing, you catch them sometimes at the wrong time. And a team like Texas A&M, who hadn't shot the ball very well throughout the course of the season, catches a heater at the right moment and goes nuts. And it's just unfortunate.
Well, and it was unfortunate because I think over the course, I mean, I could tell from just watching on TV that the crowd kind of got taken out of it, right?
Yeah.
And at the start, and we were having a conversation with Jay in the last hour about that first like 10, 12 minutes of the game played, frankly, I believed into Nebraska's hands, right? Like it was fast moving, right? And Nebraska came in as the better shooting team, if you will. And at that point, I looked at that as, Texas A&M is going toe-to-toe with Nebraska offensively. Like where both sides should be happy, Texas A&M, because they've been able to go for half of the first half toe-to-toe with Nebraska offensively. And then on the other side, for if you're a Nebraska fan saying, we don't see this sustaining the entirety of 40 minutes for Texas A&M, but lo and behold, A&M just caught fire and they just never looked back.
And what's crazy about that, you're absolutely right. They looked very good early on. There was a couple of situations where Josiah Alec had a couple of bunnies. You miss those. Those are the ones you can't have. Now, he still played a good game. He played a pretty solid game, but you can't miss those because you're going from taking 2 points off, and it can provide, a 5-0 or 7-0 run just on that, especially when both teams are really hot. And that's what happened because there was a season high. It was a season high for Texas A&M. There's a couple of things that I said before the game and prior to. Can't allow Wade Taylor IV to get crazier, and he was crazy. Like I think he had hit his first 5 threes, 5 for 5 on his first threes.
Yeah.
Ends up with 25 points. But then Obakese was crazy on him. He struggled pretty much in his shooting, and he just kind of had a tag moment, like in WWE or WWE,
Yeah.
you go and tag it was like Wade Taylor goes to the bench with 2 fouls,
Well,
and you think that they're going to be good, and then boom, he goes crazy. He ends up with 22, and then they had no answer for Tyrese Radford. I think Tyrese Radford was one of the X factors in that game at the point guard position. And it was frustrating for me because I'm being a left-handed guy, and you watch tendency as a defender, Nick, and I'm like, they're going right, strong, hard every time for 2 to 3 dribbles, and they're spinning back to their left hand. When are we going to catch that? Yeah. So it was just, those are some of the things as just a basketball player you're watching, but it was tough. They would just look stronger. They looked stronger.
They
like
look
more
stronger.
physical.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I mean, an underrated piece of it is when you mentioned, I mean, there were multiple times where Wade Taylor had to go to the bench because of foul trouble. And that's where, like, throughout the entirety of the game, and I said this last hour, so I apologize if people are hearing me say it again, Nebraska just honestly in the second half especially failed at times to just chip away. It felt like at halftime it's a 14-point deficit, which certainly is not, an insurmountable deficit by any amount or, by any accord. So I look at that as, all right, there was a moment in the second half where Texas A&M went on a little bit of a slump, I suppose, right? And they had, I think it was like 3 total points through like 5 minutes of game time. And throughout that entire time, Nebraska scored like 2 points, and I think it was 2 Bryce Williams free throws about halfway through the second half. You tweeted it out, Strick, during the game, and I kind of was thinking the same thing back at like the 16-minute mark was, okay, let's play the media timeout game, right? How much do you want? Let's figure out a way to cut the deficit to 14 at the under 12. And let's figure out a way to cut it to a single digits, like you said, at the under 8. Because then, guess what? Like, the winds have changed, the momentum, it might be swinging back in your favor. And in that type of game where Wade Taylor the fourth was 5 for 5 from 3, Buzz Williams was able to sit him for what could have been the most crucial moments of the game, from that like 5-minute mark to like the 9-minute mark in the second half left in the game. He was able to just sit him, which
and
then
rest.
and rest him with foul trouble, because there were other pieces on the floor that were picking it up for A&M. Nebraska wasn't able to get stops either consistently and then piggyback scores off of those stops. And so then at the under 4, when Wade Taylor comes back into the game, he's got fresh legs and he's one of the best players on the floor, even when he is tired. And so it just felt like Nebraska just couldn't get out from behind the 8 ball, but they had opportunities and they just weren't able to convert.
Yeah, and when you say opportunities, it wasn't looking good early on in the first half by way of just they weren't the bigger team. They were just the more active team.
Yeah.
You didn't really necessarily let them do anything in the not in the transition, because that's the area you wanted to be fearful of, is the transition. They didn't really do that. But what it was is it was straight to the bayou. They were getting running start. They really wasn't even running too much out. And the offensive set they run was very similar to like a horns action that they used to run. Not a horns action, but like an over-the-top action that Allen Iverson in Philadelphia used to run, where they run a guy over the top, and then they'll run a guy on the baseline. They got a couple of threes out of that set. And then once that guy clears to that corner, it was just straight to the bayou. Like, we're going Bayou Classic. And
it was the same thing against Houston last night, too. It was the same thing. They got to overtime, and Houston – it was Shed, I believe, who for Houston, who hit a 3, and it was instantaneous. We're going, if you're A&M, going right back to the bucket. We're going to try to draw a foul. Houston had 4 guys that fouled out of the game last night. And Texas A&M, 2 things. Texas A&M should have beaten Houston last night, Stricky. They missed layups, and they were horrible from the free throw line. Texas A&M should have beaten Houston last night. I think we forget that Texas A&M was a top 15 team consistently in the early parts of the season. This is an A&M team that that maybe I personally didn't give enough credit to when kind of previewing the matchup for the Huskers. I thought Nebraska, frankly, was in a good spot. I truly did. I thought Nebraska was going to be able to bounce back. They had played well the last couple of weeks off of a week of rest, right? They played at Michigan. Now, I'm not trying to compare Michigan to A&M necessarily, but Michigan, they had a week off to rest before they went on the road in Ann Arbor. And I felt like this was kind of a similar situation. They fell, in the Big Ten tournament to Terrence Shannon in Illinois, where that was probably a game they could have won as well. But nonetheless, they're going to get a week off to prepare, to scout, to kind of get this game plan. And it just looked like Nebraska just wasn't ready to go in terms of intensity and physicality.
Yeah, there was three parts to that. One, they had a season high from 3-point range in which they shot from three 56.5%, where they came in at under 30. So that's one thing uncharacteristic to their favor. Two is they literally had a game plan, and I asked him. I was in the presser afterwards talking with Buzz Williams and those three gentlemen that I just spoke about, Obakeze, Taylor, and Radford. And I asked them a question. I said, was a big plan of theirs to take out Rick Mast out of this game? Because you could tell that they didn't want no parts of Rick Mast in the post. No. And they used a lot of Nebraska's own strategy against Rick Mast, and Rick wasn't able to get anything going in the paint. And that's one of your advantages that Nebraska had, was there at that point. And the counters that Nebraska had was great, because they got Alec in great positions to finish, and he missed a good portion of those, which was a problem. And then lastly those were the three. It was that their unseasonal timing of 3-point shooting, taking Rick Mast out of the game, and they did everything else right. As far as and then the rebounding, they out-rebounded. Not a big team, 40-28. That's not good.
That's what I was going to kind of piggyback on there for you. It was that, and on the few times where they would miss a shot, and it was like, all right, Nebraska, stop. Well, then don't forget they're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. Going back to Rick Mast, because that was a matchup that you and I talked about on Friday and stuff, Friday during the day, or excuse me, Thursday, potentially at Wings and Rings. I can't remember. I think it might have been Friday, actually. But nonetheless, where that was a place where you said, Nebraska may have a little bit of an advantage at it. That was disappointing, right? Because this isn't the first time that we've seen kind of Rink taken out of a big time game. Nebraska's been able to kind of work through that and still come away victorious. But A&M did a really good job of kind of taking Rink out. He wasn't able to hit the perimeter shot on Friday night either. We've seen him kind of become non-existent against like Indiana when he had to go up against, Kel'el Ware and stuff like that. That was what was disappointing. And I think it might shine a light, though, Stricky, into, all right, what is a piece that maybe Nebraska's missing? And maybe it is that dominant, I guess. Like, that's such a cliche phrase or, description or adjective. But I guess a dominant and consistent post player. I think that's where it is. Because even to Josiah Alec, although he had a double-double, I think in the first half he had a double-double already, there were like 5 or 6 layups that he just missed right on the doorstep. And if it would have been a much closer game, I mean, those are ones that can be the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah, and listen, you said something to me, and let's take a quick peek real quick, and it's about that dominant player.
Yeah.
Look at what NC State is able to do. Look at what leaving Colorado. Now you're starting to see the presence of some of these big men. Look at Kalkbrenner, some of the domination he had in the paint. But that DJ Burns is out there looking like a big Zebo and just dominating inside, and there's nothing no one can do about it. And it's propelling them right on into the Sweet 16.
I think and this might ruffle some feathers, I think a great comparison of what like Nebraska could be going forward would be Colorado. I think is a little bit of Colorado. They had a big man, that number 44. I'm blanking on his name, but he transferred from TCU, I believe. He's their post presence. But then you also had De Silva, who could hold his own enough down low, but then also can stretch the floor. And that's what it feels like Rink could do going forward. Is kind of be able to still stretch the floor, and then has a good enough inside game and inside presence to where he can scrap a little bit down there. I think that's what going forward Nebraska need from a program standpoint with Colorado. I mean, that's a Colorado school that made it, back like 3 or 4 straight years from 2011 to 2014 into the NCAA tournament. Then they made it in 2016, and then they had a couple year drought, and they made it in 2021, and now here in 2024. Like, it feels like that could be type of success going forward, where Nebraska fans, you're kind of pleased with that, where it's okay, you're not waiting 10 years between each appearance in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and no question. And I think, listen, the team will learn, the team will grow. There's some definite areas that got exposed that they'll be able to take into account. Listen, I love a lot of things about CJ Wilcher, but the deficiencies of when you can put him out there, and depending on the matchups, sometimes he can't be out there. And there's other players on the team like that. And that's the thing is, Texas A&M got to see their length. Like, shots that would normally have gotten off for Nebraska players were getting blocked by the guy that were guarding. Yeah, guys that were guarding them in recovery, and they made it very challenging. And they'll learn from that. And I think once you get Eli back, guys like Eli with that physical strength and presence, guys like him, they're going to be very beneficial because he has that Texas A&M type of ability.
Yeah. Well, and we're 402-464-5685. Maybe we can take a break and talk about that on the other side, because we've gotten a couple of texts over the last couple of hours. And I saw some reaction on Twitter regarding Fred's decision to pull Casey out of the game early on and kind of sit him. I think a lot of it's matchup based, and I'm going to have kind of a hot take coming up, I think, involving Casey Tominaga, that I've kind of been wavering back and forth on whether or not I want to bring it to the air. I think I am going to have a conversation, because I want to specifically get Strick's thoughts on it regarding just matchups, right? Because there's so much of it is matchup based, and with a guy like Casey, you have to kind of be selective at times on when you want to put him out there. I understand the ability that he can bring to your offensive game and potential success, but it's almost like a pick and choose. Do you want to risk it on the defensive end? And I think maybe we saw Fred trying to toy and play with that during the game on Friday a little bit with Casey Tominaga and some of his minutes. So I definitely want to get Strick's thoughts on that. But good stuff there, Stricky, as don't go anywhere. We'll come back with On the Block. Once again, Nick Sainert in for Austin Orman just today. Austin's going to be back. He's probably, I think, in the air currently, flying back from Corvallis, Oregon. And so I want to thank Nebco, as always, for sponsoring On the Block. But don't go anywhere. I'll get Stricky's thoughts on a question involving Casey Tominaga when we return right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Brought to you by the Original Super Glue. Stop by your local participating Westlake Ace Hardware locations for your $10 savings coupon. Restrictions may apply. See store for details. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena this Friday and Saturday.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that Potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket. You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Allo Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
Are you in the market for a new garage door or need to repair your old one? It's wintertime, and that means snow, wind, and freezing temperatures. All things that can cause sticky locks and damage to your garage door. If you're experiencing any issues with your commercial or residential garage door during the winter months, call Cameron Hall and his team at Doors Plus. Don't be trapped outside in the cold because of a poorly maintained garage door. Call Doors Plus today at 402-590-5800 or visit them online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. This is On the Block. Nick Sainert, Eric Strickland with you. Nick filling in for Austin. All right, Stricky, are you ready for this here? Oh, you got to get that taken care of real quick. There
Yeah.
All righty. Here we go. Because before, I'm going to bring this up with the understanding that Keisei was one of the most influential players in recent Nebraska basketball history. And I want to frame this correctly. I'm excited to see what this program is like without Keisei Tominaga. And the reason I say that, as I before the keyboard warriors come at me, they're going to bring in a guy in Nick Janowski next year who is much bigger, shoots it well, and
got a lot bit more thang to him too than Keisei probably does.
So much with Keisei, there was so much excitement on the offensive end, but unfortunately it felt and you could feel where Nebraska had to really be strategic with playing him on the defensive end. And maybe that can be said for every college basketball player, right? Because not every player is going to be a complete player that can play both sides of the ball really, or both sides of the floor really well. But yeah, I know. But what I guess what I'm getting at is like, this is not me saying I'm glad Keisei's gone. Okay, so don't frame what I'm saying in that context. What I'm saying is I'm excited to see Nebraska as they move on post Keisei Tominaga era, right? Because Keisei was influential, and because of the antics and the excitement and the celebrations on the floor, I think it clouded some people's true and unbiased analysis of Nebraska when it had Keisei Tominaga. And that when we're getting texts about this and we're seeing social media reaction about how people are mad at Fred, they're pissed at the coaches because they're taking Keisei out when Nebraska's down by, 6 or 9 points. I think we need to understand that there's got to be some strategy played and taken into account, because there was liabilities and deficiencies on the defensive end of the floor when Keisei was in. And good teams are going to go at their opponent's weakest link on defense. And unfortunately, that was Keisei Tominaga a lot of the time.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. There were certain lineups out there that you're right. It looked absolutely like, how are they going to do this?
Yeah.
Who's going to score? Who's going to score for this team, right? I think there was a time when you had CJ Wilcher. I think it was Jamarcus. I think it was Sam Hoiberg. I think it was Alec, and then it was Juwan Gary, maybe. It was a weird. It looked weird, but at the same time, you're right. I would have to agree with you. Now, let's go from here, though, because your Keisei is not. You do have to consider it, and if he's not on a burner or he's not high, he's not like super hot. That's your trade-off, because Keisei is not like Terrence Shannon Jr. He's not like Wade Taylor IV, who can literally get that ball at the top, face you up without. Now, I'm not talking about the face up, step off of you and fade and hope you hit. I'm talking about getting into the paint, creating something, maybe getting a little lean in with the body, and maybe getting an N1 or a floater or something that can allow your defense. So that's where the issue is. So if you look at that, there's then the other side of it. You have to say, dang, how can I, I need stops. I need stops right now. Right now, these guys are just eyeing. They're looking at Keisei like licking their chops, like they're sitting at the table going, feed me food. Feed me food.
Yes.
And I'm not being nasty about it. I'm being honest. That's just honest. Nobody's gonna look at me and say that. That there's a difference for a guy that can, lock somebody down or shut somebody down than somebody that has that issue. Now, here's my question to you though, Nick, and to the listeners, 402-464-5685. Obviously, we won't know the answer to this question until we get there. That's something that you're saying. We don't know what the replacements are going to be, how they're going to play, who's going to step up. With what you see in this Nebraska team and how it's ended, what do you think is needed going forward? What do you think that's needed as an addition? And do we feel we have that in what's coming, or some pieces or remnants of what's coming?
Honestly, Stricky, I've been going back and forth with this all morning. And I guess over the weekend too. I just keep going back to point guard, and I feel like I'm not doing very deep analysis by just saying, "Oh yeah, you need a point guard." But I watch some of the games over the course of the weekend, right? And I've talked a lot about him, and so I apologize to the listeners. Tyler Kolek at Marquette. Mm-hmm. The guy, he averages over 8 assists per game this season. Tyler Kolek does. He's one of their leading scorers as well. And he came from George Mason University. That Marquette grabbed him out of George Mason.
Same thing with Creighton's point guard. Same thing with he came from out of there too.
Stephen Ashworth came from Utah State last year.
Yes.
I look at those guys as somebody that can go get a bucket if they need to, right? Kolek is really, really good with his left hand. But he had 11 assists on Sunday against Colorado. I mean, you want to talk about being able to facilitate the offense, making it easy on somebody else. And also never allowing struggles either offensively to dictate his play defensively or vice versa. And that's where, I look at some of the players that maybe Nebraska was trying to run the offense with this year at times and struggles offensively. And this is not just against A&M. This is not just in the Big Ten tournament. This is over the culmination of the entire regular season.
Yeah.
There were times where poor offensive play dictated and carried over onto the defensive end of the floor. And whether
Stop right there. Stop. Just hold that point, because that's an important key, and I don't want to lose that because you're on to something. Just there's a couple of instances in that game where you notice the difference of what a point guard would see, observe, and be able to take advantage of.
Yeah,
which Nebraska doesn't have. So you're on to that. Like, for example, there's where Bryce is a calming presence that just, it's not going to be erratic. It's not going to be helter-skelter. He's a calming presence. But he's not going to be that guy that if you're hounding me, pressuring me, that I spin off of you and you're trying to steal the ball behind me, then I'm going to let you get back in front of me. Like, the minute you got caught behind me, I'm to the Baja. And I'm looking for who's there. And if no one comes, I'm popping you with a little short pop right in the middle, or I'm distributing. That's what a point guard mentality is. So there's where you're talking about just not being able to understand that dynamic, but he keeps a calm presence. So I'm not mad at him, and you're right about that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times, folks might look at the box score and see, oh, he dropped 24 points, he had 6 assists, and instantly think, oh, well, you don't need to do that. That's your true point guard. There you go. Mm-hmm. I think over the course of a season, right, we talked about one thing Nebraska as a program, as a team did, and whether this was because of Bryce or Brink or even a guy like CJ Wilcher at times off the bench in the middle of the season when he was really stroking it well, was like you were able to avoid slumps and you were able to avoid long droughts scoring the basketball. And every single time you got punched, somebody was able to, or, you were able to punch right back. And I felt like Nebraska, over the course of the season, in the later stages, struggled at that a little bit more, right? Indiana was the last one on the road where I can truly say, man, they got they got that uppercut right underneath their chin, but they were able to bounce back. They were able to get right back up. After that, it felt a little disappointing at times, just in the intensity of the physicality, the way that they were able to respond or weren't able to respond for that matter. So that's, I guess, because of everything you just said and kind of I just said, I lean to point guard, man. I look at these other teams that, yeah, like Nebraska should have their sights set on where an Illinois is or like where a Clemson is. I mean, that's been a big story that nobody's really talked about is that 6-seed Clemson was able to knock off 3-seed Baylor yesterday. And every single time Baylor was able to kind of get it within 5 points, Clemson would pull away and make it a 7-point differential. And they were able to continuously create some space and separation between the two. So I just look at that and I go, man, it's hard to say anything but a point guard just because of the calming presence that it could provide to an offense, but then also to everybody around you. Like it just makes everybody else's job so much easier, I think, when you're not shuffling back and forth between, okay, can Jamarcus play the 1? No, let's move him back. All right, let's ask Rink to bring the ball up the floor a little more often than maybe we want to. Okay. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. All right. But then maybe is that Bryce's best spot, right? As a true point guard. Right. I'm not sure. I think there's people out there that might be able to run that position even better, which then just increases Nebraska's ability as a whole entire team.
I agree. And I think it does. It takes away some of the best parts of what Bryce can be, even in the efficiency aspect of him. I think it does. I think it takes away from some of that. And so we're going to see. We're going to see.
And so here's the thing. Greg from Lincoln chimes in and says, so it would be nice to have the top point guard in the nation. I agree. I'm not saying you have to go out and you're trying to go get a guy in Tyler Kolek who's going to drop 20 and 10 a game. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm saying is now Nebraska's in an opportunistic spot where they've had substantial success over the last couple of years, and they've shown the ability to build off of years where they can go out and identify a guy maybe from the mid-major level and say, this is how you play the position, and this is how we need the position to be played. I think it's all about identifying the right guy and the right fit, which you can do at the mid-major level because teams do it all the time, every single year.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I mean, like some on the text line are saying different things about the frenzy of the pace, like Eli in Illinois and so far. It's those teams that's what Texas A&M had to do. They knew that. They knew they had to. Their whole goal, and I can't remember if I tweeted it or not. Their whole goal was, we're not driving, and I know we got to go to break soon, but we're not driving really in every essence to score. We're driving to like get you to come over so we can rebound. We're just going to really toss that thing up in there. So a lot of it went in, but we're going to toss that thing up there, and we're sending everybody and their mama to the rim to go get it. And that's where they killed us at. They were just saying, we know you can't guard us. You're going to have to help us. When you help, then we're going to get a shut off and try to be creative. And if we miss, we just know we've got 3 guys coming after it.
And doesn't that feel like a crappy way to play basketball? Yeah. I mean, we're just going to come at you. If we draw a foul, great. We got a couple of free throws at the line coming up. If not, guess what? We feel confident enough that we drew you out far enough to the right side of the rim that the ball is going to bounce to the left side, and we're going to have 1 or 2 guys there going up against just one of your guys, and we'll play the numbers game. Man,
yeah, it's very similar to what. Listen, in a lot of ways, Creighton got lucky that it was only two people, the center and the guard, were the only 2 players that, I mean, I think at one point they had like 50-some points and the rest of the team 12.
Dante and Cuisinart all just had all the points in the second half.
Ran out of gas. And so they were very fortunate in that. But that's what they were doing. A lot of the times those other guys were just driving. And obviously Kalkbrenner's a tremendous shot blocker. He would come over and Dante would go right behind him and get rebounds and put it back in. And some teams play that style of ball.
There you go. All right, he is the Husker Hall of Famer Eric Strickland. I'm Nick Stainert filling in for Austin Norman today as he's en route back to Lincoln from Corvallis. We'll finish up the 2 o'clock hour. It is 2:59 p.m., but that's all right. We went a little overtime. That's all right. Good conversation as always with my man Stricky here on the block. Huge thanks to Nebco for their support. As always, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit Constructors.
Hey, Nick, did you have a topic, or did you want to just go and do that NFL news and that discussion? I thought, you know, yeah, that's me. Oh, this is that new phone. Remember, I had to get, so just lock that one in too.
This company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution.
You can use either one, but this is the one that's more local. This is the one that's going to be local. Don't give this number to anybody. Give the other number to people if they ask you for it.
Side of your gutter, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
What was that 245 segment? I can't remember.
So, oh shit, hold on.
Jake Sorensen here for The Body Shop. My wife is nearing her due date with our first child and has been in need of a good
245.
Change and adapt. Dennis at The Body Shop were incredible with the prenatal massage that she's still talking about today. I was also able to get a deep tissue massage, so it was a great bonding experience and a unique couples massage in general. If you're needing book a massage,
You're talking about the ones that's leaving between them.
Shop at 48.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree, and I didn't have one.
Well,
I found out that Doan
I think Jop is going to give you Alec, but more.
So I earned my bachelor's degree.
You know what I'm saying?
5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doan. For me, the Doan experience has been life-changing.
That'd be perfect.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone back with the latest update from Andy Goodyear.
Yeah, it's just really that Dion. I was interested in that Dion because it's been 21 years since Elway, 21 years since Eli. Now you're coming up on it again. He's basically making that same demand.
Pick out a new Honda and drive away with it that day.
How many new Hondas do you have in stock?
Well, right now,
yeah, that's what I added. Yeah, that drop tag.
Hey, you've won some very important awards in your service department. Tell us about them.
Well, the first one is we won the
miserable. Yeah, miserable
award. So the cars are actually fixed on the very first time they're brought in. Second award is our customer service experience award, and then our third award is our Honda Express service. And we rank the best quality and customer satisfaction.
Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Maybe it ought to be time to rethink the old strategy. Start doing things.
Ready to upgrade your combine in 2024? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help you find the right combine to fit your operations needs. Choose from 4.9% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver, followed by John Deere financial rates with approved credit through the end of March. When you purchase a pre-owned S or X Series combine from Landmark, know you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running. View our current inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Old School with DP and J.
Do you think it's too early to talk about Patrick Mahomes as the greatest of all time? You know, to be honest with you, I think he might be on ahead of the pace. It was definitely on pace, maybe ahead of the pace. I think right now everything that he does is going to get overblown, and I think people so quickly forgot the 20-year run of the Patriots. Not 5-6 years, 20-year run of Tom Brady and the Patriots.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Spring is a time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Furious Cheese Spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Furious Cheese Spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back here on the block. Nick Stainer, Eric Strickland with you. All right, so before we quickly take another break and get to the 3:00 hour officially, I want to get Strick's thoughts on a guy like Matar Job. Matar Job. We saw him in brief instances throughout the course of the season, a lot more in the early stages of the year. Little tall, long, lengthy dude that is interesting and might be intriguing to some Husker fans. He hit that pull-up jumper against Illinois in the second round of second game for the Huskers in the Big Ten tournament. So Stricky, next year, looking forward, where Nebraska's going to move on from Josiah Allick, and we'll see if Nebraska utilizes the transfer portal and if there's any other guys moving on from that position group. Where are you at in the analysis of Matar Job? Because I know he's a guy that you and I are kind of both pretty high on. Hold on, microphone.
There we go. Yeah, I actually like Matar Job. And listen, one thing I think we miss, because we've been so as a program at the University of Nebraska, they have been so, what's the word I'm looking for? Not adept. They've been well, let me just say, they've been leaping into the transfer portal and they've been pulling a lot of people out.
Yeah,
right.
So
They've been fixated. So what you don't realize is that you look at him and you got a JUCO transfer. So you got Blaze Keita, top JUCO transfer. I personally don't think Blaze is going to stay. I
because of system,
he doesn't fit.
right?
Yeah, he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit the system at all, right? But Matar Job, you forget that he's only a freshman. That's because he's got a nice big size body. He's already pretty broad. Him and Eli, you look at them two, and you don't come to the conclusion that they're freshmen. Like,
yeah, these just abnormally long arms that are just like,
right?
Yeah, like I will never forget.
He's fresh playing.
Yeah, sitting courtside, like his arms, his hands go below his knees.
Yeah. You don't think about that. He's just really learning. I mean, really understanding the speed, understanding and learning the game. I have to tell people sometimes that it's just not literally showing up and playing basketball, right? One of the areas that I thrived in was when Dallas Mavericks had Jim Clemens, who took over. He was formerly for the Chicago Bulls. Jim Clemens takes over the team and he implements the triangle offense.
Yeah.
And the triangle offense isn't a simplified offense where you just can kind of go out and run a couple of sets and, no, it's a read, react, respond. The defense tells you what you're going to do, and it's a pressure elimination type of offense. So because I'm a cerebral dude, I happen to pick it up a little bit quicker than most. Some guards, they're not used to just running that type of stuff. Jop is probably similarly lost in the movement of what Nebraska is, because it's a lot. It's a lot of different movements. It's a lot of different counters that are right inside the system. So that's what I'm saying. I think he's going to get it. And once he does, I think he'll be a nice filler and taking over what Alec does. Now, Alec is a hustler. He's not super athletic, but he's strong and physical, and he can do a few things, right? But Jope is going to have great block timing. He can run like a gazelle. He can do a lot of the things. He can also put the ball on the floor, which whenever you just ask Austin when he gets back, ask Austin how I was acting every time Alec was trying to dribble the ball. I was almost losing my mind because he doesn't really have that in his game. I think Jope could, over time, he can develop that.
There you go. One question that we get from Tater on the text line. Strick, would this team have beaten you back in the 90s?
No.
There you go. Simple as that.
No.
Do you want to explain it all? Why?
Well, it depends on which team you're talking about. If you're talking about the sophomore team with me, Pike, and Bruce Chubbuck and that crew, because that would be the team that looked a little bit more like this team. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about that, no.
Yeah.
You're talking about our later teams, maybe. Maybe they might have been able to clip us.
We got a lot of stuff coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. Strick and I are going to
Casey ain't getting a shot, though. Casey's not getting a shot off.
Hey, whatever you say, Stricky. Whatever you say. So we got a lot of stuff coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. We're going to pivot away from NCAA basketball, college hoops, and we're going to look to the NFL as a couple news and notes came out earlier today. The job of being an official may be getting tougher and tougher each offseason, and people continuously get frustrated at officials, and maybe rightfully so, but their job is certainly not getting any easier as the years go by with some of the rule changes. So we'll tell you about that. Also, 3:30 segment, we got some Husker football to talk about. Spring ball started today. We're going to get to hear from the athletic director, Troy Dannon, tomorrow at 2 p.m. in a formal setting. 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So the guys will have plenty of reaction of that in real time tomorrow afternoon. And then we get our first look at the Huskers football squad in spring practice as a media member on Thursday at 9 a.m. And so we'll have plenty of stuff coming up. Let's talk about a couple of the position groups later in the 3 o'clock hour. Plenty of stuff coming up. Stick with us on the block. Nick Sainert filling in for Austin Norman. Eric Strickland is joining us on the stream. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEPCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? At Warhorse Sportsbook, their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino in Lincoln or Horseman's Park in Omaha, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up
But why?
because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Service Ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The best time to have your air conditioner serviced is before you really need it. Call Bryant now and schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. You'll stay cool and comfortable when you need it most. Just call 467-1111 to schedule your air conditioning check. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer. Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks, exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer. Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks, exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Ready to upgrade your combine in 2024? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help you find the right combine to fit your operations needs. Choose from 4.9% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver, followed by John Deere financial rates with approved credit through the end of March. When you purchase a pre-owned S or X Series combine from Landmark, know you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running. View our current inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland.
Strickland for three. You're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome back in. It's hour number 2 of On the Block with Nick Sainert and Eric Strickland. I'm filling in for Austin, so do not worry, as he will return tomorrow with Strick from 2 to 4 as usual. On the Block, sponsored by NEPCO. Appreciate them as always for their support of the program. You can join in the conversation by texting or calling 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream. If you want to see what's going on inside the studio, Strick's got a beautiful background going on as well. It's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 961. Okay, we're going to pivot away from college basketball, talk a little NFL, as earlier today it was announced that the NFL is going to ban the hip drop tackle, despite the NFLPA's objections. And so this basically comes from Yahoo Sports, said the NFL has officially banned the hip drop tackle after a vote at the spring owners meetings. Momentum has been building for months now to ban the hip drop tackle, which League Competition Committee Executive Vice President Jeff Miller said, quote, results in about a 25 times rate of injury as a typical tackle. Now, there's been a Yahoo reporter that's been kind of following this pretty closely here. And these are the parameters for the hip drop tackle. It is a foul if a player uses the following technique to bring a runner to the ground. A, grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms. And B, unweights himself by swiveling and dropping his hips and or lower body, landing on and trapping the runner's legs at or below the knee. The penalty for a hip drop tackle is going to be a loss of 15 yards and an automatic first down. It says it will eliminate a potentially dangerous tackling technique, and the reason for it is player safety. Stricky, I'm all for making the game safer. However, from an official standpoint, I want to find this because they were asked, here we go, that competition committee chair Rich McKay was asked, hey, how will you train officials on the penalty? And he admitted it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough on the officials. He says the message is that it's a penalty, call it. But call it if you only see the defender, 1, grab the opponent and get control, 2, swivel him, and 3, unweight on him. And so basically what that means, you have to have all 3 of those to make it a penalty. And the official needs to see that in real time in a bang situation.
Yeah.
And then get it right. The NFL is making it so difficult on the officials and basically swinging the door wide open for endless criticism throughout the season.
Yeah, it's already bad. And the crazy thing about officiating is there's so many cameras now. Like in times past, you probably would have maybe 4 cameras. You would have maybe 2 in the midsection, 1 on the side, maybe, but they were kind of at a distance. So there would be probably some angles that you wouldn't be able to get. Now there's cameras everywhere, especially in football. You've got the overhead cameras on the floor, on the field, goes back and forth in the end zone. Like you've got so many, a pylon, you've got so many angles now that it makes it difficult. So you're being super scrutinized on everything that occurs, i.e., for example, like just take the Super Bowl, for example. Trent Williams holds, and Shanahan basically acknowledges it to the ref. You can go look it up. And that's the other thing. You got social media. So everybody's not only catching it, they're taking the angles, and then you're having personal breakdowns. Now, some people are shady and they don't do a good job at it, but then some people are pretty authentic because they wanted to become better. And here's the issue. Shanahan goes to the ref and says, hey, okay, I can acknowledge that was a foul, but listen, they hold and they release my guys all the time. Just call it that way for me too. Yeah. Did that happen? No. And what I'm saying is why I brought this up, Nick, is the scrutiny bugs come out, because if you're a fan or you're a fan of football, or if you're a fan, they'll give you 5-6 different clips where that didn't happen. And so guess what? Referees now are under the scrutiny of and clips are being sent out and shipped out, and it makes you look bad as an organization.
Big time. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think once again, like, so just a reminder, if you're just now joining us, we're discussing how the NFL has banned and made it a penalty on the hip drop tackle, which basically grabbing the runner with both hands or wrapping the runner with both arms, and unweights himself by swiveling and dropping his hips and lower body, landing on and trapping the runner's leg at or below the knee. It'll be an automatic first down and a loss of 15 yards, or, if you're a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down, if you get penalized for it. And once again, the 3 parameters that make it illegal, because there's multiple kinds of this quote unquote hip drop tackle. There's multiple ways to where it could look like it, but it might not be by rule the official like hip drop tackle, if you will. And so the message from competition committee chair Rich McKay says, we'll train officials on 3 parameters, and you have to have all 3 of these. Once again, you have to grab the opponent and get control, swivel him, and unweight him. So basically just jumping on him to bring him down, and bringing all of your weight upon his body. And so once again, you have to make this bang bang call, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but then it's going to open the door, not only like we just said, for criticism, but also into curiosities on how they could change games, how it could affect the outcome of a game. When you're talking about, does that 15 yards put somebody in field goal position or field goal range? Does that allow a team to maybe get into the red zone with an automatic first down? I mean, you're opening the door for a lot of potential criticism that you frankly have had a lot of with your officials the last couple of seasons, with pass interference and whether or not they should be reviewable, with just confusion across the board from players, from fans, from officials, from coaches, on just rules in general. On some when you're requiring parameters to be made when you're making a call, it makes it confusing, I think, on a lot of parties involved, including the players, which, as we know, I mean, this is now their job. So I guess on the other side of it, you could just argue that they need to know.
Well, Nick, I'll say this. When I was playing, obviously I played on the offensive side, and that was a skill set of mine, being an all-state receiver. But here's the thing. I really wanted to play defense. I can honestly tell you that if I was playing collegiate football right now on the defensive side, I wouldn't want to play it. Yeah. I would by all means be looking to be on the offensive side. It's so to the benefit of them. Now, in a similar manner, basketball has become that. When did you ever think that they would have to create a rule for so much flopping?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I thought about that. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I would go and try to sell a charge, or people try to sell different things, on the defensive side. If somebody, leans into you or whatever, you try to sell it. But boy, oh boy, just some, and it's happening in all those sports. Like, does it happen in baseball, Nick? Like, what is it that they try to sell or get up? I mean, obviously the catcher, would try to move into the strike zone. But
I would
what is
say,
something in
the only thing with baseball I can think of is like they're trying to cut down on the flamboyance and like the excessive celebrations.
showing up? Yeah.
Like I
Okay.
would say that. However, when it comes to baseball, like I think you kind of need to an extent
Need that.
in today's world,
Yeah.
especially, you need to allow a piece of that, because you talk about attracting the younger audience, and things like that are going to attract the younger audience. I mean, that's just the way it is. And so,
It's not sexy.
Baseball purists like myself, we don't. I mean, I love a classic 2-1 ball game where the winning run, was manufactured in by a bunt, a ground ball over, and then just a simple base hit up the middle. I love that stuff. And so, but I understand like the younger people who are just casual baseball fans might not like it, and you got to figure out a way to appeal to all generations. Back to
They used to tell us, Nick, when we was playing baseball before you go on.
Yeah.
They used to tell us when we were in minor leagues, they were like, hey, if you hit a home run, run the freaking bases and
there you go.
Get back in the dugout.
No,
Because if you show somebody up, they used to throw at you.
Oh, well, and that's the thing. It's like I completely understand the whole like staring down a dude and trying, intentionally doing it. Like what case they did probably on Friday, probably not the most, acceptable thing. But however, if you're doing it towards your own dugout, if it's not a sign of, you're not intentionally being disrespectful, looking at the pitcher, talking smack to the pitcher, then you know what? Hey, there could be a lot worse things that are allowed in sports. The NFLPA, by the way, the Players Association, released a statement ahead of the owners' meetings against the proposal of banning this type of tackle. It says, quote, "We cannot support a rule change that causes confusion for us as players, for coaches, for officials, and especially for fans." A couple NFL players have spoken out about this. Dolphin safety Javon Holland said, he tweeted out earlier today, breaking news, tackling has been banned in the NFL. Vikings safety Josh Metellus tweeted out, competition committee doesn't care about defense. Every year they make it harder for us to succeed. Why can offensive players still cut you? I'm sure a bunch of people get hurt from that too, but it's still in the game. And so it just goes back to that, right? There's so many little minor rules and parameters once again where it's, this is technically a foul or a penalty, but you need all three of these pieces. You need all three of these pieces for it to be the official penalty. And you're asking referees to make a bang judgment call where I'm not saying it needs to be something that can be reviewed, but you're opening the door for a possibility of games being altered and changed and affected because of some of these rules that you're instilling into the game. Stricky, let's when we come back, I know you want to talk about this Deion Sanders stuff, because in the NFL draft, and it'll actually work out with our college football discussion as well, but in the NFL, or excuse me, college football, Deion Sanders said, quote, certain cities ain't gonna happen for Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. We saw Caleb Williams have this kind of approach to it as well this year. He doesn't want to go certain places. Could this be something that we see in the future from certain players? And is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? I know we want to talk about that.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's something to discuss because, I'll get into some of the numbers of it, but it's starting to happen probably more so than not. And my thing is, Nick, is it one of those things where it's good for the, for the players to take that type of power to their own self, or is it a detriment to the sport? So that's the way I want to take the angle on it. And we would love to hear from you, 402-464-5685, but we'll be right back to do so on 937 The Ticket at ticketfm.com.
Ready to upgrade your combine in 2024? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help you find the right combine to fit your operations needs. Choose from 4.9% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver, followed by John Deere financial rates with approved credit through the end of March. When you purchase a pre-owned S or X Series combine from Landmark, know you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running. View our current inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather, sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: a chance of rain expected throughout the day. See falling temperatures with a high around 52. Tonight, a chance of wintry mix and blowing snow possible. See a low around 23. And tomorrow, a slight chance of snow in the morning. Otherwise, mainly sunny and windy. High around 36. Meteorologist Kyle Clucker for 93.7 Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire. Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Aloe Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit aloefiber.com to switch today.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Service Ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Spring is on its way. Are you prepared to keep the grass greener on your side? Blades Lawn and Landscape has a position opened at a homeowner association to their client list with residential and commercial openings also. Transform your yard into a private oasis with the professional services offered by Blades Lawn and Landscape, including landscape walls and beds and a 5-step fertilizer program applied by a licensed professional. Call them today at 402-730-6320 or go to bladeslcc.com to schedule a free estimate on commercial or residential lawn services.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay, and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Now, to tie it back to Nebraska men's basketball, this group has a chance to do something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
You know, in making a run in the Big Ten tournament, a serious run, in winning the first NCAA tournament game, but they're not going to get there by doing the same things they've always done. It is on this team to step up and change that narrative. It won't change on its own. Teams won't lay over for you, and that's the mindset shift we haven't consistently seen yet.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. This is On the Block. Strick and Nick with you. Nick Sainert filling in for Austin Orman. Eric Strickland en route back to Lincoln, Nebraska. So he's joining us for a couple more minutes here as we get you ready for Old School with DP and J coming up in just a little bit. Now, we touched on this before we went to break, but Deion Sanders said earlier today, or excuse me, over the weekend, certain cities aren't going to happen for Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter. He says, I know where I want them to go. Sanders said on Friday on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. So it's certain cities that aren't going to happen. It's going to be an Eli. He's referring obviously to Eli Manning, who was the last player to tell the team with a first overall pick that he didn't want to play there. The Chargers nevertheless drafted him, but then would ultimately, as we all know, traded him to the Giants. Elway didn't want to play for the Colts, ultimately got traded, I believe, to, dealt him to the Broncos back in, what would that have been, 83?
83.
So, yes. So you have a situation here. We know Caleb Williams has come out and said, listen, there's teams I don't want to play for.
And he wants money. He wants ownership in the like, you have done nothing yet, my boy. Like, why would I even that? That's crazy to me, but okay.
Yeah. And so, Strickland, let me ask you this. Is this good or bad for the game that you have college players who are turning into former college athletes saying and demanding all of these things before they even get drafted into the league?
Well, I would say that's really a question I also would have for the listeners. 402-464-5685. Either that, if you're on the stream, tap in, because I really do want to understand this a little bit more. Now, Deion does say something that you can kind of understand to a point, but at the end of the day, this is one of the things that he said. He said, we've all been brainwashed, quote, we've all been brainwashed into accepting the basic premise of the draft industrial complex, the DIC, and pause. It's an honor and a privilege to be told to move to a city. Listen now. He says it's an honor and a privilege to be told to move to a city where the player doesn't want to live, to play for a dysfunctional team with a dysfunctional owner and or a dysfunctional GM and or dysfunctional coach or bare cupboard of talent around the player. Now,
a lot of dysfunction.
I'm just gonna state, I'm just going to stay right there on that specific issue, because that's part of the issue that I can understand. Because we've seen quarterbacks, we've seen certain players go into certain organizations where they don't have a really good feeder system, or they don't have a really good staff to help to mold and to make this. We've seen it happen in Golden State, where just for basketball, where they sent James Wiseman out there and didn't really have a plan for his development. And all of a sudden now you're looking at him like you're a bust, right?
Yeah.
And some are, but they don't get that nurturing, that development. People right now are looking at Justin Fields, trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with him.
That's exactly the comparison I was going to make, was Justin Fields, right?
Yeah.
Where because now
give it another couple years, Nick, it's going to be Bryce. Charlotte, couple more years. Go ahead.
It's the with Justin Fields, like so the way that the rookie contract, or his specifically, is structured is that he's got the 4 years, as we know, but then on his 5th year, it's an organization decision, right?
Yeah.
And if let's say in this case it would be the Steelers want to pick up his 5th year option, then it's for $25 million. And it's kind of like the arbitration or qualifying offer, I guess, more so in baseball, right? Where they kind of take the average of, or a franchise tag in NFL, where it's like they take the average of the position. Well, so I look at Justin Fields here, and like he specifically is in a spot where, because of the Bears drafting him, and not really up until this last year truly trying to build around him or boost some people on the offensive side of the ball, his career could have an entirely different trajectory, I suppose, when you look at, no team in their right mind is going to pick up a $25 million option for Justin Fields.
Facts.
He's not worth that right now. But now he also went to a place where he's going to be competing with Russell Wilson for a starting quarterback job and for reps. And so it is going to be such a small sample size, I think, that, NFL fans are going to be able to see Justin Fields this year. And in that small sample size, that's going to be Justin Fields' opportunity to show other teams and organizations that he can still play football. Because he could be quickly out of the league in the next couple of years.
And so that just on that point alone, that's where I can understand. So as a person, even yourself, just take the football, take the Deion out of it. Just you didn't hear this from Deion Sanders. Just take that into account.
Yeah.
And you personally in the decision-making process of where you want to go, your options is to go to Anchorage, Alaska. Your options is to go to Russia and Siberia, or your options is to go to the Mediterranean or Florida. Like which one are you gonna choose? Like, do you want to go to a gulag up in Russia? I mean, I'm just saying, like, you all things being the same, you're gonna be in the same league. Money's not gonna change. You've got a choice as to where you're gonna go: Florida, Anchorage, Alaska, or Siberia, and rate them in that order. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not too upset about it, because I want to know who's going to have the best interest. I want to sit down with that team and know what the plan is, how we're going to get through, who's going to be coaching him, who am I working with, do I have tools in the shed, all of this stuff. I can understand that point.
A couple of the cities that were named for the Shadur from Deion: Atlanta, San Francisco, Dallas, Baltimore.
All the teams he's played for, because he knows them. He knows the city. He's been there. He's familiar with the organization. So of course he's going to say those.
Yeah.
He said Washington. I think he said Washington too.
Oh, he did. He also said Washington. He also said Washington, but interestingly enough, Deion previously said that he doesn't want him playing in a cold weather city. I think it gets pretty cold in Baltimore and in Washington. Also, you could play anywhere where if you playing on the road, it's cold. In some
cold
situations.
In San Francisco too.
Hey, there you go.
So that's limited to guess how many teams, and who needs a quarterback at this point? Dak is going to be at free agency, so when he comes up in 2025, that could be an option. And then Atlanta's still kind of hunting, or do you?
No, they got Kirk.
They don't.
They got Kirk.
Yeah.
They found him. They found their guy. Let's take our final time out here. Good stuff there. Show's flown on by. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as we have. At least I have. I can't speak for Stricky. Maybe he's hated these last hour and a half.
I always love working with Tricky Nicky.
Let's take a break. I have to step out. For this final segment. Jay's here. Harrison will be on the board for the final one. So Stricky, you'll go ahead and take over when you guys come back from commercial. Appreciate it as always, my man. Jay Foreman will come in as we get you ready for Old School with DP and Jay. Huge thanks, though, on the block. Stricky, always a pleasure, my man. Good stuff. I will talk to you tomorrow. However, Stricky going to be back right after this on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you are passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
The best time to have your air conditioner serviced is before you really need it. Call Bryant now and schedule your spring air conditioning service check. No matter what brand equipment you have, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean, inspect, and test to make sure it's ready to cool efficiently when hot weather hits. You'll stay cool and comfortable when you need it most. Just call 467-1111 to schedule your air conditioning check. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
When you teach your children how to set and reach goals, you'll do more than just help them succeed in school. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Motivation and goal setting build confidence and instill a drive that will benefit children their entire lives. It will also help them become more positive thinkers. Working together, parents and teachers are a powerful team for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's specials through March 26th is spend $25 and receive a free 10-ounce New York strip. Limit 4 per visit. And don't forget about lunch on Fired Up Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Locations on 84th and Havelock and 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to On the Block, the final segment. It is the crossover with Jay Foreman and E Strick here, as well as I think it's who else is in the building? Jay.
Harrison.
Harrison?
In the building.
Harrison.
Yeah.
What's up, Harrison? How are you, my boy?
Doing great. It's Huskers aren't in it anymore, but we got plenty of March Madness ahead yet. So no, I'm doing all right on a chilly Monday night so far.
Chilly Monday night there back in Lincoln, and here's the good thing. Baseball is on a roll. Softball, we hope to get rolling. Gymnastics is in regionals. So there's still some action that's going on before the end of everything, and it goes absolutely dry and sour. But we'll also be looking at spring. Spring practice is right around the corner. Jay, what's your thoughts, man, with the spring upcoming? What are you wanting to see? Are you wanting to see a good connection between Dylan and the receiving core? You want to see the line go back into domination mode? You want to see the defense just be, active and create? What is some things you're looking for as you get into the spring?
I think, Strick, it's just like anything, I guess, you got to start, you're almost starting to, over, and not that you don't have the players that are established, but, reestablish your foundation pieces in your program, physicality, fundamentals. Obviously, you want to make sure that we, touch on the turnovers and fumbles. And, it's been so long since the season ended. You want to make sure that you make some of those improvements that you want fresh in the players' memories. Just because the season's over doesn't mean you're absolved from still being held accountable, those. But as far as like what you mentioned, I felt like the development of the offensive line, got better as the season went on. You got a couple additions in the transfer portal. young guys from last year. You want to see what steps they made. Then, of course, everybody in the quarterback room, you want to see, consistent improvement and legitimate quarterback play, along with the young receivers and tight ends and the 2 receivers we got out of the portal, and obviously the running back as well. Offensively, you want to see them start to gel, start to separate themselves as far as who's the starters, backup, or rotational players. And defensively, you want to, obviously, again, fundamentals, foundation, but then also add to it and raise the expectations, right? And so, want to work on tackling to be able to tackle, at a high clip, game 1 through 12, and then hopefully, games after 12. And, get better at the little things because they'll lead the big things come in the fall.
Good. Let's stop for a few seconds to do a station identification. We'll come back. I got some breaking news.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Well, Jay, I'm going to be flying back home real soon, and but there's a couple things that just broke. We're just jumping the transfer portal right now. Eli Rice has jumped into the transfer portal. I know my thoughts on it. I know how I feel about it, but what say you about that, and what do you think could lead him to jump in the transfer portal? Because I would have thought like Blaze or somebody like that by this time, but to see him jump into it, I'm kind of surprised.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's the quite opposite of maybe Ramel Lloyd, right? You probably expected that's to be expected. And with Eli, you saw, great potential where he could possibly fit in and carve out a bigger role for himself or possibly start next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's more of a surprise. And so I don't know. Sometimes, guys want to come in and get guaranteed minutes and then move on from there and feel like they can go other places that they might be able to get guaranteed minutes. And that's the hard thing about the portal. It's just part of the college basketball in these days. It's almost like if you have too many good players or ascending players, the patience isn't there. But you can't fault the kid that wants to play and play a lot right now. I think it'd be hard for me in this situation to be too judgmental because you got Juwan Gary potential, obviously coming back, Bryce Williams as well. He's probably thinking, where do I fit?
Mm-hmm.
Still a young kid, as we're seeing. I think you never know what the next season holds, and I think he's talented enough that he could be able to definitely get guaranteed minutes or earn minutes on where he's at. But maybe those minutes or what he projected in his mind wasn't up to snuff. I mean, it's hard for the only thing for me, Strick. I guess I only can go from a football standpoint. If you go in the portal, and I know you got to get in the portal sooner than later. There's going to be a ton of kids in the portal. I hope you have a place to go. But I always feel like if you're in the portal this quick after the season, you've been in the portal. Just mentally.
Yeah.
Now it's just a matter of pushing, send on the email or whatever you need to do to get your name in the portal. So, I mean, it's probably, look, that's part of the future plans. Everybody saw the potential. He played some big roles and big minutes at times and probably wanted a little bit more, but sometimes you can talk better on this. And sometimes when in the situation as how the season goes, circumstances sometimes can be the factor why you don't play as much as you probably normally should.
Yep.
A certain rotation is rolling. You're winning with this certain rotation. You're riding it, and you're riding it, and you're riding it. And then next thing you know, you don't have experience. And then when you don't have experience, you don't have minutes. Now you're sitting here thinking you're not good enough, but then actually it is. It has nothing to do with you. It just has to do with the situation. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's tough. And Harrison, I'll let you tap in before we get out of here. But there's another local that's jumping in the transfer portal, and we would love your thoughts on that as well. 402-464-5685. William Kyle Jr. out of South Dakota State jumped into the portal, and that boy is a super athletic freak. And he led his team, in all conference, and I think he might have even been player of the year out there in the same conference that Omaha plays in. And so Missouri shout out Valley. To him. He's going to go in. No, I think it's not Missouri Valley. What is it? The Summit? Is it the Summit, Harrison?
Yeah,
that Omaha plays.
Yeah, Creighton used to be the
Yeah.
Missouri Valley. My bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to him. But Harrison, my thought is, yeah, the door was about to swing open into your favor. You was going to probably look to step into a role. Yes, I think probably here's the thing, and Jay as well. I think that sometimes probably parents and people in the neighborhood, or you go back and you're talking to your AAU coach, and a lot of people start feeding you a lot of stuff. And in your mind's eye, yeah, you weren't ready, my boy. Your defense was lackluster. It's already a defensive challenge team with Wilcher, Casey. And then if you're not able to be like Juwan Gary, then at least play some D. Then yeah, you're deficient. So so that's where I think he probably missed the mark, and he'll go somewhere. He'll be able to score. But here's the thing: he's probably gonna go somewhere that recruited him heavily before he came to Nebraska, because you're gonna want to go to some place where there's familiarity. Because if you got to go start over, there's going to be people that's already there that the coaches already know, they're already familiar with, they're going to like, they're already comfortable with him and the roles that they're going to play, and you're going to be in the same position starting over again, unless you go down, maybe mid-major or something at that level.
Yeah, out of all the guys on the roster, out of the young guys, that's probably the biggest hit. That's probably the last guy I'd want to see hit the doors. And like Foreman said earlier, the fact that it was this quick, kind of with the Ramel Lloyd Jr. situation, which that one you can understand a lot more. This was definitely a little bit premeditated. At some point, he was probably thinking about it towards the end of the season, but he showed a lot of flashes early. Like you're going to miss his length. And even if you weren't happy with him defensively at times, he's still young. And he definitely has the size to become a better defender. So with his 3-point shot, the way he kind of plays too, it's a bummer. And it does surprise me. It feels like a Fred Hoiberg offense would really fit his style. And if it is the defense, again, I just think with his size, length, that is an area of the court he could definitely grow on. So I think it's a loss for the Huskers, but there's still a ton of time. I'm sure Hoiberg probably get some guys in the portal as well to replace that. But yeah, definitely not a good start for the guy to hit the portal and Eli Rice. He'll probably land somewhere quick because he's got enough on tape. But yeah, I think it's a tough loss for the Huskers.
Yeah, tough. But hey, that's what you got to go in the transfer portal for. Go in there and land something else, and hopefully that you had a good enough season to where you can. Now, I think what's good about the Huskers is you can now begin to have discussions about style, play, how they fit, and people can start to see how that works in putting themselves or into those scenarios in place. But that'll end it for us on the block today. Old School will be coming up. We're going to jump out of here. I will be back in studio tomorrow. Austin will be back in studio tomorrow. So we'll look forward to seeing you. Thank you for tuning in today, right here on the block. Thank you to NEPCO as well for their continued support. And we'll see you mañana on the block. Peace.